Hi, I'm Gary Hunter, and I'm glad you're considering or enrolled in Sales Management 458. I'm actually new to Ole Miss, so I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of you. And I hope that this class or this course can give you a good start and a good foundation on sales management. So what I want to do is give you a quick preview of sales management. COVID, of course, has had some different impacts on things. So the course is being offered basically as a purely online course, which means essentially you'll be able to take the course from anywhere you've got access to a computer, a good internet connection, and can work that way. And it also means that the scheduling is there are weekly assignments, work that you'll need to get done, but there are no like weekly meetings, so we won't meet in class and we won't have a scheduled Tuesday morning class and Thursday morning, but you will have like weekly requirements. So adapting to that online format will be one of the challenges of the semester. Trying to get into good habits, good routines is what I would encourage you to try to do. Monday, which we're counting as the first day of the week. So Monday's the first day, Thursday's the fourth day, Sunday is the seventh day of a week. By midnight on Monday, you'll want to do things pretty much every week. And by midnight on Thursday, there will be something else that you'll want to try to get done. So however that fits best with your schedule is what you'll want to work out. There will be some team assignments. So your team members and finding team members who can kind of work around the schedule that works for you will be an important component to try to figure out as we move along. Okay, so this is the syllabus that I have pulled up. So in the syllabus itself, you can see there's a lot of material here. And what I've tried to do is put most everything that you need to know about the course into the syllabus itself. Hopefully this is going to help in that sense. So I'll start with the first page. Okay, so on the first page you can obviously see that this is my contact information, and my contact information, email is a great way to get in touch with me. I get email on my phone like most of you guys do. So that's a very effective way. What I'll try to do throughout the semester is respond to you within 24 hours. Make sure that you note that you're a current student and which section. There's two sections of the course, section 1 and section 2. So if you could note like which section you're in, that will help me a lot as well. But what I'll try to do is respond within 24 hours. If I don't respond within 24 hours, then what you should feel free to do is just send a reply back to that with just a dot, just a period. And that period alerts me. That's one of my signals. I try to avoid getting any period. So within 24 hours, I'll try to write back to you to get in touch. In terms of the course format, as I mentioned earlier, it is like all online. So this is the verbiage that goes through all of that and talks about the idea that you have these different requirements. So some of the material will be lecture material where you instead of being in a classroom, you get maybe a 20 or 30-minute video where I'm trying to lay out what are the concepts and the ideas associated with what we're learning that week or what we're focused on. And those videos will often have like PowerPoints that accompany those. So that should help you to kind of get a feel for that part of the process. If you hate quizzes or exams, this may be your course. There are no graded quizzes or no exams. So it's all kind of set up where you're doing all your work out of class, much like you will do post-graduation. Many of you are getting close to graduation, so it's you're closer to being rid of quizzes and exams than you might imagine, unless you go back, of course, for grad school, then you can get more then. But the course will be asynchronous, so you've probably heard the two terms asynchronous and synchronous a lot. So asynchronous just means that there's no set time. Synchronous, if you have classes this semester that are synchronous, that basically, and they're online, that basically means that you will have like a meeting time where you may be expected to meet with your class, but each one of your instructors and professors will kind of outline a lot of those details so you can get a feel for how that will work. What I've tried to do is, I don't know how many people are trying to do the course all online. What I've tried to do is eliminate any requirements that you would have for meeting in person. So there are no like scheduled meetings. You may have some team meetings, and you may have meetings with your professor that you do in person. That's going to be totally up to you. It's totally your choice, and each person has different factors and risk aversions associated with COVID, so we should honor and respect those as much as we possibly can through the semester. I would be happy at some point if your team or you as an individual decide you want to meet at the university, or if you're on campus and you're back and enjoying being back in Oxford, that would be great. I'm in Holman Hall, room 229, so that's where you could find me there. So if we set up a meeting, which could be by appointment or however we can kind of work out meeting times and stuff like that as the semester goes along, I'd be glad to kind of meet with you and your team. And there will be times where it's probably going to be good to meet with your team. Like when you have big team projects coming up and stuff like that. If you want to try to have a team meeting, we can do those as well on Zoom. So, and you don't all have to do the same thing. If some people want to meet in person and some people want to meet in Zoom, then we can pull up Zoom on my computer in the office and stuff like that and work from that. Or we can just use Zoom exclusively. I'll leave that a lot up to you guys in terms of how your team wants to work and those kind of things. I do wish we were back in full swing. I love being at a university, and I love the whole university setting. And Ole Miss is notorious for being a great place to be. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting the pandemic over with and moving forward from that. So that's some of the information that's on the first page of the syllabus. The second page of the syllabus goes into things like office hours, those kind of things. I haven't set up a specific set of office hours, but I am thinking that I may do that during the semester, where I try to pick a time. There's a good chance I'll pick like Tuesday morning, where we could get together on Zoom, and I'll give you a Zoom dial-in number where you can kind of come in and join on office hours if you want to join, or where I might just share some information. Each week I'm going to try to give you a preview of the week, so that will be a separate video that you won't have to do in a set time, but you can kind of pull that video up and get that weekly preview of what's going on in sales management. It's the course itself, so kind of getting into the course and some of the substantive material. What the course is about is really about how do you manage a sales force. There are prereqs for this class. One is Principles of Marketing. The other is the Professional Selling class. So I think all of you have had some exposure to both marketing and sales, professional selling. This is really kind of moving to the point of saying how do you actually manage sales. So understanding sales is a part of it. So we will do some things that are very much related to professional selling, and understanding how sales and marketing fit together is another important part. So we will talk a bit about marketing and reviewing some principles for marketing, and how sales strategy fits with marketing strategies. Then focus a lot on what sales managers do. So in terms of the course objectives, you can see what some of those objectives are. The objectives, that are spelled out here are these 5 different objectives, and understanding, as I just mentioned, marketing and sales strategy, understanding some of the fundamental concepts that are associated with personal selling and sales management. Understand that, so sales management has a big component of leadership. So there's a lot of leadership that is associated with it. In fact, 1 in 9 people in the United States work in sales jobs. So if you are a natural born leader, or if you are a trained leader, or if you aspire to be a leader, one of the best places in the world to work is in sales. This is where a lot of people are. So in order to lead, you have to have people to lead. Leadership management, training, and evaluating salespeople is a focus of the third learning objective. The fourth one to be focused on how do we kind of create 2 major outcomes for sales, or efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency is kind of how easy it is to get things done. Effective is more about like how well things get done. So you probably heard those terms a lot, effectiveness and efficiency. Then being able to kind of design, create, those are somewhat synonymous words: design, create, implement, and evaluate. So how do you kind of do things? Implementation is about doing it. Designing and creating, if you go back to that, is more about planning. So you plan, you do, you implement, and then you evaluate. How do you evaluate how well did we do as a sales organization? So that's what I hope you'll get out of the course. Is some of those different objectives are really kind of what the course is designed to help you learn to do things. Sales managers a lot of times work in dual roles, and they often kind of have to be salespeople as well. And you sell at different levels. So if you take, some people sell at an extremely high level. Even CEOs work in a sales-like role a lot of times when their company has brands. And I'll share some stories and stuff that relate to that over the course of the semester. Hopefully some of this material gives you a feel for what the course is about and how it kind of gets into some of those details. I won't bother you with kind of reading all these different details that are there, but I do want to talk just a minute about some of the required materials that we have. So the required materials include a textbook, a course pack, and they're kind of down in this area. So their textbook is Salesforce Management, Leadership, Innovation, and Technology, 12th edition by Johnson and Marshall. So that's basically the text that we're using, and the text can be bought by Amazon, or it should be available at the bookstore. It was on the list earlier this year, so I don't know how the bookstore is operating in the fall, but you can order these online if you decide you want to order them that way. There's also like Kindle versions of this book, so if you want to get a Kindle version, or if you want to rent a book for the semester, that's fine. since the course isn't a quiz-based course, it's less tied to the text itself than a lot of courses. A lot of undergraduate courses are just kind of read the text, learn the text, I'll test you on the text, that kind of stuff. This course is very applied, so it's designed to try to help you get out and apply the material that's there. So as such, we're not tied directly to the textbook as much as we might be, but the text will give you a good foundation for a lot of the materials that we're going to try to learn throughout the semester. There's also a course pack, which is through the Harvard site. So the course pack has 3 cases in it. There are 3 major cases that we'll talk about in the semester. And those cases are designed to kind of take you inside an organization and let you kind of see what the sales management concerns are for that specific organization. And these are all real organizations. We're talking about 3 this semester, and HubSpot is going to be one. HubSpot's also, we're also doing some other stuff with HubSpot in terms of training that I'll talk about a little bit later. But HubSpot is a case, and it's a case where they're considering like using bots instead of salespeople, and how should they kind of think about that and go about that. There's a case called Nobel, another company called Nobel, and then a case called Novartis. So there's 3 different cases that we're going to talk about, and each one of those are real companies that you'll learn more about their industries and more about how they work. But in particular, you'll learn a lot about some of the sales management concerns they have. So those readings are going to be in this course pack, the second thing that's required. And there's one other like reading that you'll see in the syllabus later besides those 3 cases. That's from HBR printing. That's about how to motivate salespeople. But that will fall into the syllabus a bit later as part of what you'll need to read. You'll also want to buy this paperback book, or really this is recommended. You don't have to buy this book. There's a lot of the stuff that's in this book that I'm going to summarize through PowerPoints and through a presentation, so you may not need to buy the book itself to be able to do it. But we're going to do an exercise that's basically about pitching yourself. How do you pitch yourself? Pink's book, To Sell Is Human, really is kind of a book that you may have had in professional selling. And one of the things that Pink recommends are these 6 pitches that fit today's modern world. And I'll show you, like, we'll kind of work through an exercise, and I'll help you to kind of develop your own pitch through some of the exercises that we'll do online. And then you'll actually create a video and then do that pitch. So I've got a lot of these videos. As I said, this is my first year at Ole Miss, but I've got several of those videos from Clemson that I'll share with you that former students have done. And those videos will give you a great idea of like how to do the 6 pitch video. And those videos are maybe 3 or 4 or 5 minutes long. They're not really that long in terms of the actual material that's there. And a lot of times students have a lot of fun with this. So try to have fun with the pitch exercise, but it's really designed to help you to kind of think about the connection between marketing and sales, and the idea of value. It's going to be kind of the center and interlocking concept that connects marketing and sales. And then how do you kind of develop a value proposition? So at this point, as a business school student, you should know what value propositions are. And we'll take those, I'll actually teach those concepts in the way I understand value propositions and how that relates to the pitch. So you'll get part of that stuff from the Pink 6 pitches exercise, or the pitch yourself exercise, and you'll be able to pick in the class your pitch champion. So one of you guys will be picked by your classmates as the best pitch in really what will be the 2 classes or the 2 sections. And so from those best pitches, you'll get a good feel. You'll be able to see again a lot of these pitches that I have from the past. Okay, your team's actually going to choose one of these books, and I'll list these books that are down at the end. But from your team, one of the other things you'll do, contemporary book. So this is done at the end of the semester, this particular book, and your team will pick from a list of, I've got I think 6 or 7 books that are listed a little bit farther down the syllabus. Summary of that book will be about a 10-minute video, and it will help us as a class to kind of see some of the contemporary things that are going on in some different ways that different people think about sales management. So the book should be a lot of fun. The videos should be a lot of fun that you guys provide. Students do the best videos. You guys are much better at videos than faculty are. I'm sure you probably attest to that. But your videos are phenomenal, and they're fun to watch. And so you'll enjoy watching one another's videos as we get into some of those. Okay, so for grading, I don't plan to use the pluses and minuses. Just kind of the standard breaks are kind of what I use, the 90, the 80, the 70, the 60. For each one of these letter grades. That's kind of the way the courses will break down, or the way the course breaks down. I'll break down each one of these as we go into it, And I'll think about it a lot. Like if you get 89.5, then I'm going to round that up. So I will look at those kind of things where, if you're really close, you end up kind of getting there. I'm not doing any extra credit opportunities. So you want to do well on the components of the class that I'm about to outline as we get into some of those. This is basically the components of the class, and you can kind of see these 7 different things are what's graded in the class. So if you're kind of focused on what's going to end up being graded and how much is each one of those worth, this is basically a breakdown. The pitch exercise I mentioned is 10%. That when your team works in a sales consulting team, you'll actually do a video and you'll do a write-up. So each one of those are worth 10%. The video will be worth 10% and the written report will be worth 10%. And I'll provide more details on like how those write-ups work and how the videos work as well. So for all 3 of the cases, your team will do a written report. So these case reports are the written reports that you're doing. So it's basically the same role that you're doing on all 3 cases before, with the exception of the one time that your team is in the sales consulting team case role. Then you'll have to do a video that's related to that. But otherwise, you're doing the written report. So you basically will do these 3 different cases in that sense. So you'll be in that role 2 times in a buying committee where your team is basically just doing a written report. Again, you're doing it from the report you're doing from the same perspective as if you were the consulting team that's helping the company out. That's the focal point of the case. And those are both worth 10% apiece. We'll have like weekly discussion forums. So this is kind of the online version of class participation. The weekly discussion forums will ask you to kind of post a small, brief thing online at different times. Sometimes I'll basically give you a prompt that may ask you about something that was in the reading, either the readings or the video that you watched, and then ask you to write like maybe 100 words. That's typically what I'm looking for on a Monday. So by midnight on Monday, you're often looking for each week to see, do I need to do a prompt or is there a prompt on the discussion board? Sometimes the prompts are different. Like for the first week, I'm asking you guys basically to kind of introduce yourselves, and then after you've introduced yourselves, I'm asking you to kind of comment or find similar things that you have, or find things that you have in common with other students, and then to post on 2 other students' things. So that would be like your participation for that week. For the first week, and that's really kind of what the weekly discussion forum inputs is about. It's about those inputs on the discussion page. And when we get to the schedule, you'll see I've laid all this out, so it's really easy to kind of follow from the syllabus. In the class, you're actually going to do a HubSpot Academy Sales Management Certification. This actually takes a total of like 4 hours. So if you sat down and did it beginning to end, it would take 4 total hours. But what you get out of it is you get like HubSpot is a big company. And they provide good it's basically free online training, but you'll actually get a certificate out of those 4 hours once you've completed watching the videos and doing that work that's online. A lot of it is just kind of videos and then like small quizzes after different sections, but they give you a pretty good overview of sales management, so it's kind of a nice summary, and it gives you a nice certification at the end. That's important to you at this point because a lot of you are probably thinking about resumes and resume entries. Well, this is literally a resume entry. So you'll have a sales management certification that you can put on your resume, and that will help you a lot with signaling to companies that you're interested in sales and in sales management opportunities. The 6th item that basically has a graded component is going to be the sales management book that I mentioned earlier. So the book list options are going to be just a little bit lower in the syllabus, so I'll talk about them as we get to that. And all the team things you'll notice in the syllabus says weighted by peer evals. At the end of the semester, you'll go back and rate your team members on their contributions to your team projects, and that's basically a form that's in the back of the syllabus. But that peer evaluation I'll use to kind of weight your grades up or down if you want to. Ideally, everyone on the team will contribute and you'll all do really well, and you'll have a great experience in terms of the team and those kind of things. But if there are like free riders, when I've had free riders in the past, like the entire team will typically agree that this person really didn't pull their weight. And hopefully you're talking about that during the semester. But if someone's not pulling their weight, then you want to basically have the grades. It doesn't change the team's grade, but it changes your grade as an individual. So that it's sort of a redistribution of the team grades. And I'll talk more about that as we get kind of into more of the team projects and stuff later in the semester. But it gives you a way to kind of help encourage one another to be good team players. And you want to start learning those habits. That's extremely important post-graduation, is to be considered a really good team player. Okay, and then finally there's an individual essay. The individual essay is going to be based a lot on what you've learned from the class, including the book reports that you're doing, that other people are doing. So in some cases, you're going to see like 6 videos, for example, from 6 different teams on different books. And those videos will be about 10-minute videos at the end of the course. Your team will have done one of them, and then the other 5 teams will have done the other 5. But you'll be able to see all 6 of those, and like if those help you or provide some insights, that can be included in your essay at the end, as well as like the other material that you learn, like what are the key things that you learned from the course. And they'll end up being about a 10-page essay where you're trying to kind of compare and contrast different ways of thinking about sales management. That basically is what takes place of the final exam. Those last 2 components, really, I think I was kind of like substitutes for the final exam as we get into the class. Okay, so that's basically the grades and how they work. The rest of the next part of the syllabus just goes through and talks about some of the stuff that I just explained. So like if you want a written version of Pitch Yourself and sales management consulting, buying committee, how that works, that's kind of what all these next couple of pages are about. But they go through each of those individual components one by one so that you can have a pretty good feel for like how am I being evaluated, how am I going to be graded, how does this actually work, right? So you kind of see the links and stuff for the HubSpot Academy, how you get to that. This is basically the book list. So when you get down to this is where you'll find the book list, as it describes that component. You can see each one of these books, and your team later will be able to draft. I use a draft, so that it'll be sort of a random number generator that I use. I'll probably put that on video this year. I usually do that in a class, but I'll put that random number generator process on a video. And that random number generator will pick which team gets to choose first, and then we'll kind of follow that order until all teams have picked which of these books you'd like to do. So as a team, you may want to look at some of these and follow these links through and see which of these you think you'd like to do. But they focus on some of the different aspects of the course. Drive, of course, being about motivation, the first one. Sales management is kind of a short version. These are shorter versions of kind of the overview part. If you're kind of analytical, data-driven is really good. Jeannie Dearborn's book is outstanding on, how to think about key performance indicators and how those key performance indicators are major ways you're kind of measuring how well salespeople are doing within an organization. How those work within an organization, she gives a great explanation of that. You've got a sales development playbook, cracking the sales management code, coaching, the power of sales analytics. These are different topics that you may develop more interest in as you learn more about them in the course. So we'll pick these books a little bit later in the class after you've had some exposure to some of these different topics. Then the last one is the individual essay. So you can see there's the stuff at the bottom of the syllabus is just getting into policies. You don't want to plagiarize or any of those kind of things. So I'll look for that kind of stuff with plagiarism software, but mostly just do your own work. And you guys at this point are far enough along in the program where you can do it and get through the process well. Okay, so that's what's in the syllabus as I kind of go down the syllabus and I get into the final part. So that what you'll use the most after you've kind of read through the syllabus, you'll use this schedule quite a bit. This is the schedule that kind of goes through what we're doing and how all of that kind of sets up. So the first thing I want to say is this is there are like weekly posting requirements. Again, I talked about how that's Sunday, Monday, and Thursday midnights and stuff. Teams 1 and 2 will come from section 1, by the way, and then teams 3 through 6 will be from section 2. That may change depending on enrollments and those kind of things, but that's generally what I'm planning at this point. So on Monday, so each one of these you look at as a week going across, and you'll see kind of Monday through 8/23, which is the first week. So this is really trying to spell out everything that you'd have to do between Monday and Sunday of that particular week. So that would be Monday the 8/23, August the 23rd through 8/29 would be Sunday. So everything that's in that will be here. So you can kind of see this Monday is referring to that Monday, that's 8/23, and then this Thursday is the Thursday of that week. So you just read kind of left or right across and you can kind of see what we're doing. So the first week we're doing kind of this marketing review and introduction, so you get a feel for marketing. You're reading a framework of marketing, so you're kind of going back and seeing, okay, this is marketing. So different professors or different faculty will have different views on what is marketing. I use the 4Ps framework quite a bit. So this is a Harvard reading that you'll kind of cover that's on marketing strategy. And then you'll see this intro to sales management is the first chapter in the textbook itself. So we're looking at kind of strategic marketing review and introduction. So that's kind of what we're doing now. For my introduction, this video is going to be kind of, there's a video that's a welcome and gives you my bio and my background and those kind of things. Then this is the video. This is basically the video that will be linked here at some point. So I'll kind of update this and tie this in so that when you click on that, you come to this particular video. And then a video that's on defining marketing strategy. So a number of these are going to be linked. So once they're underlined like this, they often have a link. So if I clicked on that, that would take me to a YouTube video that's on defining marketing strategy. So that's what you'd want to do. That's basically the first week's work in that first row. So you want to do all of that stuff during that particular week. So some of the requirements you have, like if you're doing a case or something, some of the readings for that week will be related to the case, and that will help you to do that. So this is where I was talking about, I'm going to try to do these weekly updates that I'll post. So I'll give you kind of a week 1 preview, a week 2 preview, and you can kind of see what's going on in week 2 and how that lays out. Week 3 and how that sets up, and the details again showing you kind of what's due in each one of those individual weeks. Again, a lot of times it's going to be something that's just like post a 100-word response on Monday. On Thursday, watch and complete your feedbacks for on all the others. Just like this is pitch week, so you'll basically be able to watch all the pitches that your classmates have done and provide feedback and evaluate those. But most importantly, you'll pick the best in class that week in terms of your pitch, and you'll see a number of those that get a number of those from previous classes that are best in class in terms of the examples and stuff. And there will be a link. There's a link here in the syllabus, but these links will also be on Blackboard as well, so you'll be able to find them within these. These weeks will basically, speaking of Blackboard, will set up as mostly modules. So this module will be like week 4, pitch yourself exercise and class competition. That's basically going to be what the name of the module is. As you see in the middle, how that works down through the modules on the schedule. So what I hope is that this preview has given you some idea of like how what we're doing this semester and how the syllabus, how to read through the syllabus and how to find the material that you need to find in the syllabus so that you can excel in the class as you kind of work through it, through the syllabus itself. So again, I'm Gary Hunter. I'm your professor for sales management. I'm really excited about being at Ole Miss. This is my first semester at Ole Miss, about my 21st, I think, in academics. So I started my first sales class was actually at North Carolina, which is where I did my PhD. That's the first sales management class that I ever taught. I've taught sales management at a few different places, and again, my bio will kind of go through some of that background, but I'm proud to be at Ole Miss and looking forward to getting the semester started. I'm hoping that all of you are doing well, and I hope everyone gets to come back and we have a chance to, at this point they haven't canceled football, so I'm hoping the football season goes, and hopefully we'll all be able to enjoy that. So thanks so much. I look forward to meeting you individually, and hotty toddy.